begin right there. It was LeBron's third career postseason game-winning buzzer beater. He is the only player in the last 15 seasons with 3 postseason game-winning buzzer beaters. LeBron watched his coach draw up the final play, and then he threw it out, draining a jumper from the corner, as you can see, to give them the win, 86-84. The series now tied at 2-all. So, Skip Bayless, how impressed were you with what you saw?
Stephen A. Smith, I was extremely impressed with not just the buzzer beater, but I was extremely impressed with LeBron's last 2 plays in that game, because number one, LeBron James had the guts to drive the length of the floor on Jimmy Butler, drive the ball to the basket, and risk knowing full well that he might have to shoot those free throws to win the basketball games. And we know that in his past, he has had problems late in games making free throws to win or lose basketball games, as we saw earlier this year at Houston late in the overtime in that game when he missed the 2 to win the basketball game. This time, he did get fouled on that drive. Body fouled by Joakim Noah, but they did not call that foul. And guess what happened? LeBron was mad about it. And LeBron already was mad about what, by his standards, had been an abysmal game. As he said, mistake after mistake after mistake, as I quote him, that he had just made, including, of course, the 2 offensive fouls that he committed in the last minute and 13 seconds of that game. And then he got mad at his coach for calling a play in the timeout huddle with, what was it, 0.8 seconds left, for LeBron to inbounds the ball instead of being able to catch the ball and shoot the ball. And by the way, in Blatt's defense, to that point in the game, LeBron was 9 for 29, and in the series he was 2 for 19 from 3. And obviously J.R. Smith had been crazy hot earlier in the fourth quarter, and I don't know, maybe Blatt was thinking, maybe we want J.R. to shoot this shot. But LeBron said, no, give me the ball and basically get out of my way. And I've said this many, many times on this show. I love it when LeBron gets mad. I hate it when LeBron gets that tight-faced, tentative look in his eyes, like, uh-oh, what am I going to do wrong now? Like, whatever will go wrong, whatever could go wrong will go wrong. And this time, to his benefit, he had no time to think about this play. This is catch it, go up, and shoot it like you mean it. And he did he shoot it like he meant it ever? It was a beautiful shot. It made up for all of his blunders, all of his cold shooting earlier in this game and this series. It was the shot that turned around this series, and I just want to say, way to go, LeBron James.
I was impressed, no question about it. I wasn't really surprised. I suspected that the minute that it went from 0.8 seconds to 1.5 seconds left on the shot clock, that additional 0.7 seconds was going to be enough time for you to call a play and get an additional and get a good shot. And obviously, I'm thinking somebody like a LeBron or a J.R. Smith, who had drained 3 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, was going to be the one to close the deal. And you know, for me, there were a bevy of errors though, and it kind of turned me off. Like, for example, Tyronn Lue may have saved the season. I mean, with about 8.4 seconds left when Chicago had tied the game, for David Blatt, who I like, and I think that, you know, a lot of people have been entirely too hard on him because he's never coached in the NBA before. He was coaching in Israel. You know, you got people, they talk about his arrogance, they talk about a lot of things, which may very well have validity to it. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but he seems to be an incredibly nice guy, knowledgeable about the game of basketball, just not the NBA brand of basketball. He's a novice. He's a rookie on this level. But to be in a position where you were going to call a timeout when you had nothing left, to pull a Chris Webber. Chris Webber was 19 years old, as Mike Greenberg pointed out when that happened. You're the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA. You've got to know better. And he's lucky that the officials didn't catch that. I also thought it was incredibly egregious on this part. I don't give a damn how LeBron James was shooting. You at the very least, you use him as a decoy. What you don't do, particularly with that minimal amount of time where you know all you're going to have a chance to do is catch and shoot, you don't have LeBron James inbounding the basketball.
Although, wouldn't you agree he's the best passer on the team?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's the franchise. He's the man. And, and when you consider the fact that Kevin Love is hurt, that Kyrie Irving is in the midst of a 2 for 10 shooting performance because that foot is just killing him. He's working through it. And by the way, from what I'm told, Kobe is somebody that's been in Kyrie's head. He's been consulting him throughout these playoffs, been consulting him in the season. season, Kobe likes this kid a lot and is doing a lot of good things for the psyche of a Kyrie. Kyrie's he's a cold assassin to begin with.
You something about injuries or
no, just everything,
like,
psyche, everything, whatever it takes to win. Kobe is counseling this young brother, and that explains why Kyrie. It doesn't matter how bad a game he's having, he's always a legit threat because he's cold. But in the end, I have to give LeBron credit where credit is due, because all of this stuff about how he called off a play and all that happens all the time. It's happened on many, many occasions. It's no big deal. And it's not like he sat up there and just totally disregarded the coach in terms of going behind his back. He said, no, we're not doing that. I don't want to hear that. You get me the ball. And that's exactly how he should have. When you're the franchise, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what he did. I give him a lot of credit for it, and he delivered.
Though, for thinking, my guy is cold. He's 9 for 29. He's 2 for 19 from 3. Do I want him catching and shooting the ball, or do I want him finding the open shooter?
Yes, here's why I can blame him. I can blame him because of the amount of time left on the shot clock and the fact that you had him inbounding the ball. Now, if you had somebody inbounding the ball, but the play wasn't called for LeBron, and LeBron was supposed to be a decoy so J.R. Smith can get open, that would be different. But to have him inbounding the ball with that amount of time left on the game clock basically shows that you had no intentions whatsoever of him even being involved in the last shot.
Right.
That is insane. That's not what you do with your franchise player. If nothing else, you use him as a decoy, so a guy like J.R. Smith, who's been doing this thing, can come in there and drain a shot for you. You can lose LeBron, because LeBron's going to require you, even though he didn't in that case because Jimmy Butler was on him, and he pushed off on Jimmy Butler and got loose in the left corner. In most situations, a guy like LeBron would be double. But at the very least, you use him for a decoy. You don't use him to inbound the ball. That's insanity.
Okay, so if the bridge was on fire between LeBron and Blatt, if he had little respect for Blatt, is it down to zero respect and the bridge is burned?
I don't think it's fair to talk about LeBron and Blatt. I think it's more fair to talk about the entire team and Blatt. There are some question marks about Blatt from the entire team. Now, again, I'm on the record. I like the guy. I think the guy's been given a bad rap because most of the mistakes he's made this season are relatively predictable for a first-year coach. I think David Griffin has done a good job as the general manager for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I will say to you that the respect that you need to have as a coach from your players, it's not very evident. It's not very conspicuous on the part of the players on Cleveland's squad. Now, does that mean they're going to sit there and they dislike the guy? And of course not. But does it mean that if the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to make a change, that people would be in an uproar? Not a soul. Not a soul.
Okay.
Yeah, well, then we move it there then. In NBA history, the Game 5 winner of a tied best-of-7 series goes on to win the series 82% of the time. So in this scenario, the Bulls are 9-10 when they're tied 2-all in the best-of-7 series. LeBron's teams, however, are 6-4 in his career in the best-of-7 series when the series is tied 2-all. So, Stephen A., let's talk about this series. Do you think it's over?
Yes, I do. I do believe it's over. I said that on SportsCenter yesterday. I'm going to reiterate it right here, right now. As far as I'm concerned, the Chicago Bulls lost this series when they lost that game yesterday. You cannot lose a game to the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron James shoots 10 for 30 and has 8 turnovers. When Kyrie Irving shoots 2 of 10. You just can't let that happen. You already don't have love. Kyrie's hurt. LeBron is just struggling in terms of his shooting from the field. And somehow, some way, they escape with this win. And this is after a buzzer beater was what you needed to kill them on Friday.
A lucky buzzer beater?
Well, it doesn't matter, Skip.
Well, it was just flat out luck.
Well, Skip, so what?
Well, it's
I mean, you throw the ball up.
No, it was luck.
You throw the ball up. It wasn't lucky for them to be in a position where the game-winning shot occurred. It wasn't lucky for them to be in a position where the game was tied. But I'm just saying, it wasn't lucky for them to be at that point. Any coach, any player, any organization will tell you luck always plays a role at some point. It happens. So that's it. Okay.
Yeah, but when the shot is lucky that wins the game.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, because every time you sit there and say stuff like that, it annoys me because it reminds me of you with the Giants and the Patriots and how the Giants lucked up instead of realizing the Patriots lost 2 Super Bowls. You always use luck every time. You always lose luck. You lose luck or you know, just conspiracy theories and you know how people get right. You're never just wrong. Okay, it's always a luck or intervention or something. So I don't want to hear it. They lost Friday. They won Sunday.
I'm actually trying to make your point for you. I'm trying to make it stronger for you.
No, I don't need.
The Bulls knew how lucky they were on.
I don't think I'll ever need your help to make my point stronger. I don't think so. Actually, I don't.
Is it
actually,
in 6 or 7?
You know, I said, well, I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let me help you.
I don't know.
It's going to be in 6.
I don't know.
Bulls,
I don't know.
We're going to lose this in 6. They're going to lose the next 2.
I understand that. And San Antonio was in 7, too. So be careful. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this.
Well, if I hadn't gotten a bad call, my Spurs...
Oh, so now you haven't had a bad call.
My Spurs would be
sweeping
the Rockets
So now you haven't had
sweeping the Rockets.
So you haven't had a bad
call. They would easily beat Memphis or Golden State. Easily. So they would be in the finals and they would beat LeBron's new team in the finals.
I got bad news for you.
It would have happened except for one call on Tim Duncan.
I never heard a word that you just said because our producer Kevin was in my ear the whole time talking to Kerry while you were talking, so I didn't hear a word that you just said, which is good. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. I didn't hear a word you said. I'm just telling you that, and it was good. It was good. It was good. Yeah. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. In the end, what it comes down to is you're the Chicago Bulls. You gave up a 16-0 run at one juncture, a 16-2 run at another juncture. They have difficulty scoring. Yep. Now, the absence of Pau Gasol is something that people want to point to. Here's the problem with that. When Pau Gasol is in the game, he's a defensive liability for Chicago because he doesn't defend pick and rolls well. So because he can't do that, it leaves a lot of stuff open for the Cavaliers. According to them, that's what they said. And as a result, it works to their advantage. Now, when he comes back, he's going to be an offensive force to be reckoned with.
He's a 20 and 10 guy, right?
Well, he wasn't a 22. Remember, he scored 11 points in one of those games.
Well,
and he
but I'm saying for the year, you can expect him.
Well, listen, Golden State's a lot of things for the year. Look at them right now. Yeah. So let's be clear. The regular season is different games in the season.
Pau Gasol out is a good thing for the Cavaliers?
Defensively.
Okay.
Defensively for the Bulls, yes, it is a good thing for the Cavaliers. Not offensively, because Pau Gasol, you don't go on a 16-0 run or a 16-2 run if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers with Pau Gasol on the floor. He'll find a way to get some points for you in the midst of all of that to stop the bleeding. But you just look at Chicago. The moment was yours. The moment was yours. And I love me some Tom Thibodeau, and I think he's an exceptional coach, one of the top 3 coaches in the game of basketball. But you know something? When you look at Paxson and you look at Gar Forman, one of the points that rang true and was really illuminated for me yesterday, Skip, Gar Forman and John Paxson wanted this man to hire an offensive-minded assistant coach. Yep. Wow. Tom Thibodeau did not want to do that. He's like, I'm in control. I got this. And goodness, they could have used some help on the offensive end of the floor yesterday afternoon.
But isn't Gasol that guy? I mean, he is automatic from like 18 feet. Would you just leave him out there?
He's not always automatic. He's not, especially in the postseason. Gasol could play as a 2-time champion. Nothing but mad respect for him. But at the same time, again, there are games where he hasn't shown up offensively. He's just their best offensive option, primarily because Joakim Noah, high energy, big-time defender, rebounds for you, high motor, but offensively, he's regressed. Wilbon and I were talking about this yesterday. He can't hit a layup. Can't hit a layup right now. And that's not something we anticipated will happen. So that elevates the importance of Pau Gasol. We'll see whether it works out or not. But I'm just of the mindset. Cleveland wins Game 5. Chicago has a big-time shot of winning Game 6, but I said at the beginning of this series, before the series began, it will come down to 7 games, and I don't see any way that they're beating LeBron James in Cleveland for Game 7. Okay, I just don't see it.
So you're saying it's going to be over in 7 yet?
Probably so.
Probably 7.
Yeah.
And I'm saying 6, which was my original prediction, because the point I was trying to get through your head was that the Bulls know how lucky they were to win Game 3, the first game at home, and they know they should have lost yesterday decisively. Cleveland had them dead to rights. And without LeBron's 2 offensive fouls, and I thought they were both good calls, the one on Noah and the one on Dunleavy with the elbow.
He deserved it.
Okay, he deserved both of them. But if you take those away, I think the Cavs are going to pull away in that game. They could have won by 8 or 10 easily because they were put in a position to do that by J.R. Smith's 4 jump shots, and as you said, 3
But it
points.
wasn't just luck. The fact is that LeBron has been missing shots. Okay. Kyrie Irving's missing shots, and defensively, the Chicago Bulls can really amp it up. Okay. Their struggles are putting the ball in the hole.
Okay, so my point is, I don't know about Pau Gasol's hamstring, but as we know, when hamstrings are bad, they're really, really bad. So he could be gone for the rest of the season. I just don't know. We don't know yet. Taj Gibson left that game at a crucial moment yesterday with a knee injury. He told the reporters after the game, I think I'm going to be okay, but I don't know if he's going to be okay. Can you turn it around in 48 hours and play on a bad knee in a game 6 at Cleveland? I don't know
if
about
Taj Gibson and Pau Gasol can't go, then of course it's over in 6. There's no question. But I'm assuming that Taj Gibson's going to be able to go because I'm thinking that you're going to wet the bed game 5. I don't think you're going to come out with guns blazing in game 5 if you're Chicago.
Yep.
You're going to be ready. You're going to have your back against the wall. 3-2, game 6, back in Chicago. I think you show up for that. And I think then is what forces a game 7. But obviously, I'm assuming everybody's healthy because if they're not, all bets are off.
Okay, so the biggest X factor in this series, injury-wise, is now Kyrie Irving. And again, I'm told that foot is more serious than even they are letting on. It could require some sort of procedure after the season.
Possibly.
You know, like so you've got a big issue going on there to the point there are times he's a liability to me on defense, especially because he just can't move. So depending on who he's trying to cover, it's a problem. And he doesn't seem to have any lift. I thought he could at least shoot 3s, and he doesn't even seem to have any confidence trying to shoot 3s. Okay, so now more burden falls on the shoulders of the best player on the planet. Can he lift this team with the help of a Mozgov and a Tristan Thompson, who I think have played huge?
Let me tell you something right now. Watching Mozgov up close, he's impressive.
He is really
he can play. He can play. Obviously, Tristan Thompson, he can play as well, and he rebounds and defends with abandon. But you need other guys. You need perimeter shooters if you're LeBron, which to me makes J.R. Smith the X factor. J.R. Smith, and not only that, he's not scared of the moment, and he's not scared to take the big shot. And I think that's very, very important.
I think the Bulls are cooked. I think psychologically that they almost lost 2 games at home, did lose 1 on a buzzer beater that just ripped their heart out.
The only shot.
I just think
their only shot was to win games 3 and 4.
Sure.
And the fact that they lost yesterday, they lost this series.
All right, so the gentlemen agree the series is over. One says 6, the other says 7. Game 5, though, however, tomorrow night in Cleveland, 7 Eastern. Odell Beckham, speaking of the game, was a little excited about LeBron James's buzzer beater, shall we say? Take a listen.
Let's go, bro! Turn up, bro! Yeah! Turn up! Turn up! I see you, Bron! Yeah! I see you!
He sees LeBron. Odell Beckham Jr. will be on our show Wednesday along with Rob Gronkowski. You definitely
don't
hopefully
he'll be calmer Wednesday. He'll be calmer
He did
Wednesday.
put it up. What do you think of that?
Well,
he was excited.
He didn't have a shirt on, right?
I mean, well, he's just letting people know what he's working with.
Okay, all right.
All right. All right.
You never know.
Hey, Warriors at Memphis. Can they even the series? Someone at the desk says the Warriors are in trouble. We will be back in just a few moments. Also, big weekend for us. NBA playoffs did not disappoint, and we have plenty more to discuss on the show. Head over to our Rundown page. That's our Instagram Rundown. Be back in a moment.